What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dirty Shore Underground. Tonight, we got a multitude of big string of ball, if I could say. It's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about tonight and try to fit it into 1 hour. But before we get into it, as always, Rob is about to hit you with the links.
Make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday. So make sure you check out there for all the newest information. Of course, while you're there, make sure you check out the Amazon link. It's one of the best ways to support the podcast. So on the homepage, as well as every single post page, you're going to see a link for Amazon. Make sure you click through that link. Go and shop as per usual. It's coming up on summertime. People are shopping for gifts for dad, or you're shopping for summer bathing suits, or for parties, or whatever you're doing and getting your stuff for the pool. Click through the link there on Amazon. It costs you nothing extra, but it's a great way to help support the podcast, help us keep the lights on, and keep this thing rolling downhill. Also, make sure you're following us at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on information. You can find all the newest episodes, links to the live stream. Everything will be sent through there, including updates from Kenny about where he's bike riding around. So make sure you check those out as well.
Hey, I figured if we're doing the summer challenge, I might as well include that.
And we are live streaming this and every episode at YouTube, youtube.com/C/Dirty Shore UG -OTA. Make sure you scroll on down to the live comment section. You can comment there. It'll pop up on the right-hand side of your screen over there. And you can be part of the podcast, ask questions, make comments.
I don't get why you always have to point this way.
Because it's reversed.
God damn it.
You reverse the camera. That's why. So make sure that you join us there, ask your comments and questions, and be part of the podcast. And if you're listening to this on your RSS feeder of choice, whether that's iTunes, Stitcher, Dogcatcher, Google Play Music, welcome, thank you for that. Make sure you join us at your opportunity on the live stream, because obviously you can become part of the podcast instead of just listening. But if you are listening to us on iTunes or any of those, make sure that you give us a 5-star rating and a review. It helps us get boosted up in the ratings and let other people know about the podcast. So before we jump into all the other topics, you mentioned something to me this week, and you sent me some stuff. If anybody was to ever look at our Facebook Messenger conversation, it would be the most random shit people would not believe. Like, earlier this week you sent me things I couldn't... I kicked over my kid's bike, or my neighbor kid's bike.
That was yesterday, I think.
Yeah, and a kid standing outside with a mask and a knife, and he said he's about to purge
because
me.
Because we like to purge, so... I seen that shit and I laughed, and I'm like, Rob would enjoy this one. So I sent it to you.
That was followed shortly by things I couldn't wait to jump into as a kid. With a 4-square, image of a trampoline, image of a bouncy house, a ball pit, and a gorilla enclosure. And then you sent me some other stuff about the gorilla. So you were really harping on the gorilla this week. What's up with that?
I don't know. When I was that kid's age,
yeah,
obviously we've all done field trips to zoos.
Right.
At any point, at any age, did you feel like you wanted to jump into an enclosure?
No, I was scared of the fucking animals. Why would you ever want to get that close?
And why would a parent take their eye off of you for enough time for you to...
Well, and I've been hearing a lot of stuff from people. I've been hearing like, if you look away for just a second, the kid can get away from you.
If a kid's scared, they ain't going nowhere.
Well, and that's why my mom would always just be like, don't go near the fence. Don't go near the fence. So you don't accidentally fall in, so you don't jump in. These are dangerous animals, and I think that the other problem is we didn't treat animals as if they were so friendly. I mean, I want to say pop culture has made it so that we feel like animals are friendly. They are not. Now, that gorilla, I don't think was going to harm the kid.
I don't think it was either, because at one point you seen it pick the kid up,
on his
checking
feet.
it.
Yeah.
Are you alright? Okay.
Yeah.
And then people are screaming and freaking the gorilla out.
Right.
And it takes off into the back corner where you can hardly see it.
Well, and so if you look at other videos of other
also,
gorillas,
apparently it's a white kid. Just saying.
Yeah. Wasn't a white kid, by the way, guys. Wasn't a white kid. But if you look at other videos of other gorillas, you see them doing the same thing, checking them over and taking care. Now they don't drag them away because nobody's yelling.
Yeah, and there's videos of gorillas saving people that have fell in these enclosures. So the big difference here is people are screaming, "Do something about it! Get the fucking zoo people!" Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
First of all, chill out. that thing that you're keeping in a cage, by the way, in Indonesia and other Southeast Asian countries, gorillas and orangutans have rights because they are found to be more intelligent than the other animal species. Like, that thing that you're all worried about.
More intelligent than a lot of humans.
Oh,
so.
That's true, too. But that gorilla shares 97% of the same DNA as us. They're lacking the ability to speak and frontal lobe behaviors. That's it. So, I mean, they are very similar, and that's why you see them taking care of it, because it looks like a little human, or it looks like a little gorilla, and in all those videos you see them, like, pick up and carry them over to the entrance and, like, hand them off to the volunteer. But when you're screaming and you're upsetting the wild animal, he freaks out and he picks up the kid and takes him away from the screaming.
That would happen in human society too.
Well, that's true too. But so I mean, go back to, it must be like episode 3, episode 4, where we talked about parenting fails. Do you remember that episode? Right, way back at the beginning.
That was actually, I think that was probably a couple months in. I think.
Was it? I felt like it was at the very beginning.
6 or 7. Well, from the very beginning, we started doing the bonus episodes. I think everything started to meld together very quickly.
But check out our previous episode at dirtyshoreunderground.com about the parenting fails. This is just another one of those parenting fails. Watch your kids, for Christ's sake, and don't blame the damn gorilla. The gorilla, when you see somebody jump into a tiger enclosure, you can't be like, oh my god, that tiger went crazy on him. No, that tiger went tiger. It's a wild fucking animal.
You're quoting Cat Williams right now.
Yes. That's right. But anyway, so
I feel sorry for the fucking gorilla at this point.
I do, and I feel sorry for the kid too. This is when I'm running things. You will have to take a test to become a parent. This is why, because that woman runs and again, tragic accident. She looked away. The kid jumped in. I can't imagine that you look away for 1 second and the kid clears a 3-foot fence and then clears a concrete embankment and then jumps in. I don't see that happening.
And from watching the video, the kid didn't even really look scared.
No. Well, because they're not wild animals to kids. They are not scary things. That kid just saw the Jungle Book. And Baloo helped out Mowgli, and there was a monkey in that who was very helpful. And Shere Khan, the tiger, was the scary character, and the snake was scary. But the bear and the monkey were friendly, so why wouldn't I jump in?
So next on the ban list is Ice Age.
What do you mean?
Because all the animals are friendly with other people. So,
yeah, those animals aren't around anymore, though.
The sloth still is.
Okay. Not that sloth, but yes, there are sloths.
That sloth could be real vicious if it wasn't real lazy.
But so watch your kids and check out the earlier episodes, and you can hear more of our commentary about how parents have changed and how much it failed. So check out that episode. But so because we were on the cutting edge of everything that's happening, the other thing you wanted to talk about this week is you finally saw Captain America: Civil War.
I've seen Civil War.
Now, Captain America: Civil War came out, by my recollection, about a month ago. Maybe a little. No, it was May 5th. May the 5th. So it's been about a month.
About a month.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I watched X-Men, and I fell asleep watching Batman
Returns versus Superman. Yeah. So I haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse, obviously, because it's still in the theaters, and I don't steal stuff like.
I don't steal nothing either.
But so you saw. You made the comment that something we talked about with Deadpool kind of came true with Civil War as well. What was that?
Shit, now I don't remember this.
So Deadpool, all of the previews were on that roadway, and we were like, well, it's like they only had the one scene and they never showed you anything, so it's great. It turns out all of the action took place on the roadway.
Yeah, most of the action took place in the airport.
Right.
Which is fine. It was great. And I'm pretty sure your favorite part is probably one of the same as mine, and it took place with Spider-Man. Like, first of all, with Spider-Man, his introduction was great.
Yeah.
I love the fact with Tony Stark showing up and he's just sitting there and he's hitting on Aunt May, which...
Of course he
and
was.
Aunt is hot for the first time in anything with Spider-Man, because usually it's an old lady, even in the comics.
She's gotten progressively younger as it's gone on. Because remember, Tobey Maguire's grandmother was really old. And then Andrew Garfield's was like a little... don't
really remember Andrew Garfield's.
Sally crap. She's a famous actress. Anyway, a little bit younger. And this one is obviously way younger than that. So we got a spirited discussion going on in the comment section. Make sure you check out youtube.com/c/DirtyShortUG-OTA. Join us in the comment section. You're obviously missing out on about half the show. But Flash says, so I'm guessing not in theaters. No, of course. Can't see it in the theater.
I'm going to say, when I finally watched Ant-Man,
Yeah.
I rented it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to like it.
Right.
It seemed really cheesy
But
in the previews, but then I watched it and I liked it.
and it was a little cheesy.
It was, but I like cheesy shit, but it wasn't like so over the top that it's just like...
Now, how'd you like Ant-Man in Captain America Civil
Pretty
War?
good. I enjoyed it. For the little bit that he had, just like with Spider-Man, I
Just
enjoyed
little
it.
hits, yeah.
Especially, I really loved when Spider-Man started talking about Star Wars, which obviously he could do because Disney owns both properties.
Yeah.
And then he, one of the guys were just like, how old is this guy? I didn't carbon date him. He's just like younger. So to think about it, him being younger, he's probably like 18, 19.
Yeah. No, he's younger than that.
16 maybe?
16 or 17,
16, 17. We know he's had the powers for 6 months, so we already know that the next movie isn't going to be another fucking...
No origin story.
No origin
Thank
story.
God.
Thank God.
Well, they did a little bit of an origin story in it.
Yeah,
he
which is
says
great.
this is how it happened, and here I am. So.
But he didn't explain how he could wall crawl, as you could see.
That's all right.
But
skip over it. We got to see his powers. Now let's get on to the action. Let's not waste the first act of a movie doing the setup. We know the story. We know who Peter Parker is.
because most people that are watching the story grew up on these comics anyway.
Yeah.
So kids that are like 8 or 9 years old ain't gonna care anyway. They just want to see somebody that's their hero.
Yeah. And I gotta say, as far as Ant-Man's concerned, Flash, sorry, Sally Field was Andrew Garfield's Aunt May. But Ant-Man was also one of my favorites in Civil War. Not Ant-Man, but Paul Rudd's character, the human, not the hero. Because when he gets out of that van, and he's like, oh shit, Captain, hey.
See, that was my biggest thing with Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
I did not see him as Ant-Man. So when they announced him as Ant-Man, I was just
Right.
no. But then I watched the movie and it worked out really well.
Yeah, he's awkward and he's got that like anti-hero hero thing.
This is probably also going back to seeing Ben Affleck as Daredevil that really didn't work out.
No.
So.
No. But when Rudd gets out of the car and he's like, it would be as if any of us were thrown into that situation. Because remember, he's got no superpowers. He's been trained how to use a suit by Hank Pym. So he knows how to use the suit. We saw that in the Ant-Man movie. But he gets out. He's just a regular dude. He hops out of the truck and Captain America's standing there, and Bucky is standing there, and Falcon is standing there, and it's just like, oh shit, like, these are actual heroes, like, I'm here.
I knew you too! It was funny. And,
So-
I mean, from that scene going through the airport scene is like my favorite parts of the entire movie.
Right. And it was most of the movie. It was the middle section of the movie. But, so, what did you think about the setup? Bucky is... You never read the comics, the Civil War comics, though, right?
No.
Alright, so, in the end, they took some liberties. I think that the story... I never really read the Winter Soldier comic, so I don't know a lot about that. But the Civil War started because of the... basically the same way that they tell it. Like, we need to register, we need to be put in check. And then Spider-Man plays a more pivotal role in the comics. I think we talked about that before too. But leading up to that big battle in the airport, I think they've done a really good job. Now, you said that you felt like it was an Avengers movie, not so much a Captain America movie.
Just because there was so many different characters on screen. Mind you, not as many as actual in the Civil War comic, but still enough to say, okay, this shouldn't have been labeled as a Captain America. They could have done something with Captain America leading up into this.
Right.
And not even called it Avengers, just called it something else.
But they did focus on Captain America.
They did.
Most of the movie. I mean, the movie was about him. The Avengers were side characters in his movie.
But we also seen Tony Stark just as much as we seen Captain America.
No, see, we didn't though, because there were entire periods where we were off with off with Captain America doing things, and Tony Stark was nowhere to be seen.
I feel like it was kind of split 50-50 with the two.
Now, say, unlike other movies that are focused on the hero, we didn't. In the previous Captain America movie, we never saw like the other side planning and doing their thing. It was always like him experiencing it along with us. So that was different because there were periods where we were in with the Avengers while they're sitting in this room. That wouldn't have happened before. But I mean, in the end, what it comes down to is we have 3 Iron Man movies. Now we have 3 Captain America movies. After Ragnarok,
about another Iron Man movie. So if Robert's willing to do it.
I think he's going to play that character till he dies, so I don't think it's going to be any concern.
Nobody else to play Iron Man.
No. So we have 3 Captain Americas now. We have 3 Iron Mans. We'll have 3 Thors after Ragnarok.
Superman. What's up, guys?
Totally different universe, but hey, how are you?
Just figured I'd put my 2 cents in.
But so overall, what were your thoughts about like everything at the ending, which. Spoiler alert for everybody, if you want, fast forward about 5 minutes, because we'll talk a little bit about the ending of the movie if you haven't seen it. So, go. Thoughts?
Let me remember it because I didn't watch the ending of it today. I stopped after the airport scene.
Okay.
I remember them punching the shit out of each other.
Alright, so it's revealed that Bucky, as the Winter Soldier, when he was all, like, brainwashed, killed Tony's parents.
Which was right before the airport scene.
Right. We see the car. We see him wrecking the car at the very beginning of the movie. We find out at the end.
Nope, we found that out right before the airport scene. Tony didn't actually say that it was him that killed the parents till the end.
Right.
But if you paid attention enough, you knew by the time we got to the airport scene that that's what it was.
Well, I had suspicions, but it wasn't until we saw the video of Tony's parents dying at the facility.
But Bucky was under Hydra's control, as we've known, because the guy at the beginning of the movie worked his magic with those magic words.
Right, yeah. How about Captain America is apparently a Hydra agent now in the comics. Did you see that?
No.
The newest issue of Captain America has Captain America saying "Hail Hydra," and he turns out he was always, all along, a secret agent for Hydra. So.
I don't know if I can believe that, to be honest with you, because the way they're going with the movies, Captain America is the person that, if somebody's in trouble, regardless of what the government says or anything else,
right,
he has to help them. He's like the Robin Hood of this situation.
Yep. And it's weird that Tony Stark, the guy who is, disingenuous and kind of does whatever he wants,
and was against the government in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's why when this movie was coming out, I was like,
I don't get it.
Reverse of what they actually should be.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. But it made sense during the development of the movie.
During the movie, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the end, obviously I think they did a great job. And they set up Infinity War really well. Because...
Which is going to have Guardians of the Galaxy characters in it.
Theoretically, that's what they're saying. I mean, we don't know anything, obviously, but...
Look, they could put Raccoon and... the tree Groot in there, no problem, CGI.
But I think the issue is that we didn't really finish the fight. Their fist fight was done, but
they said flat out the fight isn't against them.
Yeah.
And then Black Widow let him go because she told Black Panther, I said I'd help you find him. I didn't say I'd have to help you catch him.
Right.
So.
Well, and then Black Panther actually helps him hide Bucky. Bucky is hiding in. Did you get? I don't know if the version you saw. Did you have the after credit scenes? What? How do you know? I've seen after credit scenes.
I don't know why on this one because I know there's always something in the after
There was
credit
2
scene.
this time.
Well, there was 2 in Deadpool.
All right, so. One of the after credit scenes is the Black Panther hiding Bucky. He has him in stasis.
Wait, you're right. I've seen that.
Okay.
Me and you actually talked about that in the text messages.
But yeah, so he's hiding Black.
Because you were like, what, for a second? Because I always trail off.
So you actually said earlier that you thought that Spider-Man and Black Panther were the 2 outstanding characters in this movie.
In this one, yeah. After this movie, I officially have hope for a Spider-Man movie.
Right. And the Homecoming
You
series.
can't say I'm wrong.
The
I've
Homecoming.
never said a word.
I
The
don't think you've
Homecoming
seen it,
series.
so.
You haven't seen.
The Civil War now.
Okay, so after you see it, you will have hope for Spider-Man.
Oh, of course. I always have high hopes for Spider-Man anyway. It could always get better.
This guy playing Spider-Man is something completely different.
Yeah.
And
It's more like the comics.
And
no
it's
Tobey
also
Maguire.
it's more like the comics, and it's more like the '80s cartoon that we grew up on.
He's-
like the sarcastic little
He's got
shit.
that. He's got that like Deadpoolness to him.
Yeah.
On the PG-13 level.
He
And
is-
I like how fucking Robert Downey Jr.'s character sitting there calling him out and shit, and he's like, I don't know, you could do anything with a video on YouTube.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, what's that onesie then?
But it's Homecoming's a great series. I think it is going to be a great movie. Now listen, it can always get fucked up. I really like Fantastic Four. Josh Trank fucked that movie up. So it's
Which
always
movie?
possible. Huh?
Which one?
The most recent one.
I was gonna say, because for me, the first two weren't all that bad.
No, I like the ones with Jessica Alba and that crew. I like those movies, and
The
I
new
like
one
the
was-
Fantastic
The
Four.
new one was complete shit, though.
Well-
I lost interest after the first two. So.
The new one feels like there is about to be a movie that's going to start. You're like, okay, now we're through the setup. Let's get to the movie. And we never did that. So, Flash said the movies are set in different universes, though. So we get another Spider-Man movie, but no female standalone superhero movie. Makes sense. Don't get all feminist on us, Flash. There's actually going to be a Black Widow movie. That's already been greenlit, so we get that. Ronda Rousey's pushing hard for American Girl.
Captain Marvel.
Is it Captain Marvel?
Mm-hmm.
She's pushing for Captain Marvel. I guarantee you that goes through too.
Captain Marvel's dope, though, so.
And the fact of the matter is, comic book heroes, there are always going to be way more male characters than there are female characters. The whole concept of comic books are driven towards women, or driven towards men. It's driven towards originally young men, and now they have aged up to teenage and young adult
I
men.
mean, come on. Nobody liked Harley Quinn till Suicide Squad, so.
Well, yeah, but and again, she
got sexy.
But again, she's not Miss Marvel. That's what it is, Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel is from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's who Nathan Fillion is going to play. But again, so Harley Quinn is not a female-driven character, though. She's
But she's
for
getting
men.
her own movie now.
She
apparently.
is, and I guarantee you that in that movie, she will be much more female-driven. It's going to be Dr. Harley Quinn, who's also smart and strong and all that stuff. In this movie, though, it's for men. The only preview we've seen of Harley Quinn, well, the first preview we see of Harley Quinn, is her, like, shuffling into the outfit. That's for guys.
I wish I could find the gif where she was pulling her shirt down and Deadpool was just like,
Yeah. So, I mean, like, in the end, it's always going to be driven towards men. Now, we are moving in a lot of great directions. Black Panther has been set up to be a fantastic movie.
but I hope they don't, because he was in this movie,
Yeah.
they don't waste a lot of time on backstory.
Well, they're gonna do a little bit of backstory.
If they
Because
do it, they should do it in a way of Deadpool.
well, I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna set up because the Black Panther isn't just about him. It's something that's
Generational
passed
thing.
down. Yeah. So they're gonna do a little bit about that, but we already know everything about it. So it'll be
Because they announced
flashbacks.
that in Civil War, so.
It'll be a lot of flashbacks. I think it'll be a lot of like his father. Maybe his father comes as like a ghost figure, or like there's a temple and he goes to visit his ancestors. But every major black actor is gonna be in that fucking movie, and I am stoked for it. So when you're talking about
music's
moving,
gonna be by Beyonce.
what's that?
The music to the movie's gonna be by Beyonce.
Okay, that's scary too. So, it's when you're talking about getting minorities involved in a film, that's it. Now we've done a lot of whitewashing in comic book movies as well. The old master in Doctor Strange was traditionally an old Asian man, but that's because it's a super racist character. That character was always made super racist. So now we've made him by having Tilda Swinton play him. It is a nondescript, non-genderized character. So it is as a blank slate as it can be.
Does that fall under the hashtag social racism?
Socially acceptable racism? Yes. And It's actually the original is not. This one kind of is.
I know no racism. I'm walking out on this one.
So Flash says, "Let me show you my collection," and that's not true. The original comics were things like Little Orphan Annie, Not for Men. Also, the Harley Quinn movie isn't official. My understanding is that the Harley Quinn movie will be based upon the success of Suicide Squad, but obviously it's looking like Suicide Squad's going to be a smash hit. So it's what we call yellow lit, which is it's green lit if the preceding movie is good. So Iron Man 2 was yellow lit at the time when Iron Man 1 came out. Like, if it is good, we are going to put out a second one. So it was good, so they got a second one. My assumption is that Suicide Squad's going to be good, so it's going to do well. So we're going to get the Harley Quinn movie. But we're going to get a standalone Black Widow movie. Other than that, the female characters are part of ensembles. So in the end, it's hard to get those kind of standalone female characters because we don't have them. Can you name a female hero from this universe?
She-Hulk.
Well, She-Hulk you would have to involve the multiverse the way that we would need to get all the other characters in.
But we got to do that.
Wonder Woman.
Wrong universe.
Wonder Woman is having a standalone movie. So there you go. Wonder Woman.
Remember the Wonder
standalone
Woman
movie.
TV show?
Yes.
Wonder Woman had a TV show. Hulk had a TV show. Flash had a TV show.
DC is always on the clip of the TV.
Spider-Man had a TV show back in the day.
Yeah. But not important. Point is, DC is actually on the cutting edge, surprisingly, of having female characters have their female-driven shows. That's because they also did iZombie. But in the end, so we have a Wonder Woman movie coming out, standalone movie. We have a Harley Quinn movie that will most likely come out. Miss Marvel, we're looking at a Miss Marvel movie coming out. Mystique is part of an ensemble. Rogue is part of an ensemble. They are X-Men.
Fox is never going to give either one of them their own.
My understanding, the chick playing Wonder Woman is the chick Gazelle from Fast and Furious.
She is from Fast and the Furious.
Korean or Asian chick?
Yes. She's some sort of mix. Yeah, I can't remember. God damn it. No,
I don't know where she's from, but she's sexy though. She's a little skinny for me, but
Poison Ivy movie.
Hey, she'd make a good Poison Ivy character.
Well, and so I think that the idea of my understanding of the Harley Quinn movie is right now theoretically going to be based loosely on the episode of Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn running rampant in the Batman animated series. So I dig that 100%. So it looks like that the Harley Quinn movie is going to be a Harley Quinn Poison Ivy movie.
I'd be alright with that.
Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot is her name.
Is
Yes, she is from the Fast and Furious movie. So Miss Marvel getting her own movie. It looks like. Wonder Woman has her own movie. Harley Quinn getting her own movie. Poison Ivy will be in that movie. Mystique and Rogue are all part of the X-Men, and they are in the X-Men movie. So to give them a standalone movie is like, who has standalone movies in the X-Men universe?
None.
Wolverine, who is the only character in the X-Men movie universe.
Kind of count Deadpool.
Deadpool does because he's talk about pansexuality.
They rebooted and did the when they did what was the one before Apocalypse?
Days of Future Past.
That one. That was their attempt of erasing their mistakes with the movies.
Right.
So that they could put out the legit Deadpool.
Right.
And try to bring
everyone
X-Men back to where it should be.
Right.
But now Fox is apparently talking with Marvel to do a crossover.
Yeah.
So that these characters can show up in other Marvel movies, and then Marvel can help better their movies. So.
Well, and Flash, unfortunately, some of those characters that you're pointing out are Catwoman has had 2 standalone movies now. So, wasn't there Catwoman 1 and 2 with Halle
Berry?
Berry?
The first one.
I've seen one.
Maybe there's one. So Catwoman has had a standalone movie.
And I think the only reason anybody watched it was because Halle Berry was in it.
Right. Oracle and Huntress arguably are, yes, they're heroes, but for every one you're naming, I could name probably 10 male superheroes who could have the support to have their own standalone movie. I mean, the argument is, do we make a female standalone just because we want to make a female standalone? Do we vote for a female presidential candidate just because she's a female presidential candidate? Or do we look for good characters and make a movie about them. Why is Black Widow getting her own standalone? Because we've had enough build up in Winter Soldier and then again in Civil War that I want to know the story.
Well, from the beginning of the Avengers, so.
But specifically, Black Widow's story has really been told in those two. So now I'm interested. I want to see the story. Wonder Woman has been built up, and now we have a point. Miss Marvel is really just about. Miss Marvel is a story about like Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds wanted to be Deadpool. He pushed until he got a movie. Ronda Rousey wants to be Miss Marvel. She will push that shit until she gets a movie. That is how it's working. It doesn't matter. Flash says it doesn't matter. It's about representation. Why have a black superhero movie?
Because Black Panther is the shit.
Well, technically they had a black superhero movie with Hitchcock.
Hitchcock, which is also based on a comic, so there's that as well.
Still hoping for a Hitchcock too, because I did enjoy that movie.
He is black and Will Smith.
Well, and so why have a black superhero movie? Again, I think that is pandering in some ways. It's pandering and saying let's bring in a previously ignored class of people into the fold of a superhero movie. And for some, that may be the first superhero movie they see. But I can guarantee you, Falcon's going to make an appearance, Captain America's going to make an appearance, and maybe that draws people into the universe.
Hell, even Green Lantern's had one.
Well, and so...
Again, it's a different universe. But.
Right. And is it pandering? Yes. But the way that they wrote Black Panther in Civil War makes me say, fuck yes, give me a Black Panther movie.
He was dope as shit. And I love the outfit, and it also wasn't all animated and shit.
Right.
So.
He is a fucking badass. Why make a black superhero movie? Not because it's a black superhero movie, but because the Black Panther is fucking badass. If he popped that helmet off and had been a white guy, I'd be like, I don't give a shit. Give that guy a fucking movie. Because he has got attitude and he's got fucking poise.
I like when he popped the mask off and the one guy's just like, Prince.
Your Highness. Your Highness.
Highness.
By the way, another great meme I saw is that everyone in the film, when they see T'Challa as Black Panther, they always like, Your Highness, Your Highness, except for Falcon, who's just like, yo, so you got like a thing for cats or what's up? But if you know anything about the comics, that's how Falcon is. Totally disrespectful, which is why he is an interesting choice for the follow-up to Captain America, because it switches.
Because the thing with him and Ant-Man was, as we've seen in the Ant-Man movie,
that's how they
had their little scuffle.
Yeah.
And then Falcon's just like, well, what happened again?
Right, and that's how he is, and I dig it. I
feel like
Ant-Man's
sitting there, I think, yeah, but I just fucking destroyed Tony Stark's systems from the inside out.
Right. So we're getting women superheroes. We are getting superheroes of color. I love this Superman or Spider-Man, but I can't say that I would not have liked to see.
Old school suit style too.
I do. I can't though say I would not have liked to see the second Spider-Man play Spider-Man. His name escapes me now, but
Andrew Garfield.
No. In the comics, they have a Hispanic kid.
I know the black kid, Miles Davis.
Miles Davis. Is he black? I thought he was Hispanic.
Black.
Okay, so I would have liked to see Miles Davis.
That's who we were hoping for.
Right.
So
but they
I'm kind of hoping that this Spider-Man dies.
And they bring it out.
If not at the end of his first movie and the beginning of the second movie.
Flash says they have gay character that gets married. Miss Marvel is Muslim. In the new series, it's important to represent people. I agree. It's important to represent people.
Well, this is after the current phases that are going on.
Right. I mean,
they've been killing off the current characters and bringing in.
I also think, though, representing people is important. And they have done a great job having representation across racial groups, genders, everything. And I don't know if Disney, Marvel is going to give in to the Captain America is gay and him and Bucky end up getting together.
Let's keep in mind Disney once put out an album by Insane Clown Posse.
Well, but I think that it's pandering for us to say let's represent people and focus on that more than the quality of what we're putting out. And I think that Marvel's done a great job of saying we are going to put out a great product, and it just so happens that we have people of color, that we have people of two different genders, that Fox's Deadpool embraces his pansexuality and his
although he never really admitted it.
His fluid sexuality. He was pegged by the girl.
Well, yeah, that, and we always make jokes about that, and I think that always goes towards friend of the show, Brandon.
Yeah, but his fluid sexuality is fine. We're embracing that, but again, I don't want to pander to people, and a lot of times that's how this stuff comes off. We are in Marvel Phase 3 now. We are still using the original Marvel characters, and they're building a separate universe. Flesh says it's easy for me to say when I'm being represented. So, yes, as a white male, as a cis white male, I am being represented. But as a cis white male, I am also 40% of the population. So that is unfortunate.
One of my best friends is black. I represent the black people.
I got my black card. It is what it is. But no, I mean, it's black people make up 12% of the U.S. population. They make up greater than 12% of the Marvel heroes. So should we say, listen, Falcon, Anthony Mackie, you're doing a great job. We're going to bring in the Black Panther, so we're going to have to kill you off and make a white guy the new Falcon because we can't have too many black people. We got to make sure that representation is correct.
I don't know if that would happen though.
No, of course it would, because it's not about representation.
I think that would have been the one person, if they were going to kill off anybody off the Civil War, he would have probably been the one.
Well, no, and they
didn't even kill off War Machine, and they had the very real chance that they.
Oh my God! I forgot War Machine's black. They have way more than 12% of the heroes being black.
They could have very realistically either killed off Falcon or War Machine in this movie, right, and they didn't kill off either one.
So again, it's not about representation by percentage. It's about making sure that everyone has someone that they can look for. Women have people they can look to. There are people of color. There are, and yes, it's easy for me as a cis white male to say yes, I am fully represented. Great, but the major representation in comic books is cis white men, and unfortunately, that is who they are directed at for the most part. Maybe not going back to Little Orphan Annie. And what's that cowboy? The little cowboy puppet that they used to have? Shit. He was on the radio. Not important. But when you got into Marvel and DC Comics, they were focused on young white men. So when we are working through Marvel Part 3 and going into Part 4, you're going to see a lot of that. But I think as we get to Part 4, you're going to get some expansion into different characters. And you know what? There are more than 12% of black heroes, even though black people make up 12% of the population. Guardians of the Galaxy has a green woman and a red dude. And I don't see any red people or any green people out in public, but they're represented in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Or a raccoon in a tree.
Or a talking raccoon, or a tree.
Which would be awesome.
But we can't. It's pandering for us to say, and yes, it's easy for me to say it's pandering to talk. But again, I am the person who's going to say it's pandering. Let's make a good product, and let's within that product find places to work in people of color. As long as we are not actively excluding people of color and women. If you came to me and you were like, okay, so the new X-Men movie, Storm gonna be a guy, Rogue gonna be a guy, I'd be like, whoa. Wait a second, though. Why?
Because they've always been chicks.
They've always been women, so you're actively looking to replace female characters with male characters. That's not okay. Wow. Okay, so Flash said to get them to join the army during World War I and World War II. Yes, that is in fact a lot of the case. The original comic books like Captain America were get fired up, go join the army. That's great. But that's what we are dealing with.
Rays, get frozen in the ocean, then pop up.
Right.
30 years later.
It's always something nuclear or gamma that creates a hero. Meanwhile, the Japanese think that nuclear and gamma creates monsters. Unless you're Tony Stark
and you got a lot of money and time.
Right. But for whatever the reasons, again, we are working our way into a very diverse, very gender equal hero set. Let's not force it by just creating these heroes and bringing people in. I think they've done a great job thus far, and to try and force the issue doesn't do anything for the universe. All it does is say, look how forward-thinking we are, and you sacrifice story, and you sacrifice the right actors in order to do that. If they had thrown Black Panther in, earlier in the series, I don't know that it fits. The way that he fits in the story, the way that he gets involved, so good. So good.
I completely loved it.
Yeah.
And I think because I have had previous experience with comics and stuff, and, you know, one of my best friends being a super comic nerd.
Right.
The first time anything was seen...
#RunTaylor.
First time I ever seen a picture of Black Panther,
yeah,
I sent it to Brandon. I was like, "Is that supposed to be Black Panther?" He's like, "Yep." I was like, "It looks really badass.
Yep.
I like it."
But again, I mean, they could have forced him into the story earlier, but I think we have to put our trust in executives at Marvel. The one guy whose name I think is Brandon, actually, now that I think about it, who I believe has planned out the entirety of sections 4 and 5 already. He knows where the story's going. He knows how everything's even if it's only in his own mind, he knows how everything interconnects. Trust that he knows what he's doing, that he has the best intentions, and until we are proven wrong, we've been proven right thus far. He's including characters of color. He's including people of both genders. He's including as much diversity as possible. Just trust in that, and like, let's not focus on the wrong stuff. Let's focus on the good stuff, which is Captain America Civil War is a great fucking movie.
It really was.
And I'm not, I was never into magic. I was never into all that stuff. We talked about that before, previous episodes. Make sure you check those out at dirtyshowanderground.com.
So you don't want to do a Ouija board episode?
I'm #tabletop nerd.
But
he's got a Ouija board.
But I am looking forward to Doctor Strange. I'm still going to go see Doctor Strange.
That
I'm
one
still
I
waiting
probably won't even watch.
Not in the theater. I'll probably...
Not even on bootleg, I probably won't watch it. I'll probably sit here and we'll talk about it, and I'll just be like, spoiled.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And then if it sounds good, I might watch it after.
Right. But, so we'll see. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out, so I'm excited to get into all of that stuff. But one other thing that we wanted to talk about today was, on our last episode, we talked... Was the last episode? Yeah.
It was last week.
We talked about Swizz and his response to Funk Volume. Actually, before we get into all that, let me just take just a second to say we are happy and we are thankful to be able to bring this stuff to you guys every single week. Nothing gives us more pleasure than getting together and doing these podcasts every single week. But obviously, this is an adventure for us. There's some costs associated with putting out the podcast, having the streaming, and all that stuff. So the easiest way for you to help and support the podcast is to become a supporter on Patreon. It's patreon.com/OTheAnthem, patreon.com/OTheAnthem. It's a great way to support the network, which is the podcast, the 3 podcasts that we have now, Dirty Shore Underground, the The Anthem podcast, and Anthem Alliance. Dirty Shore Underground, or The Anthem's every Tuesday, new episodes every Tuesday. Dirty Shore Underground, new episodes every Thursday.
Your past one was Wednesday.
The audio went up on Tuesday. The video didn't come out until Wednesday.
Okay. It didn't sound like that from watching.
Right. And Anthem Alliance, which comes out every Friday. So we encourage you to check out all 3 of the sister shows on the Anthem Digital Network. Also, as you know, we have Heretics. We have a whole bunch of other projects forthcoming. We're shooting this weekend, right. So it'll be out hopefully next week. We'll see. But so we got a whole bunch of stuff coming. All of that we are paid for out of our own pockets. We do this because we love it. But obviously, the cost can be prohibitive. We want to be able to produce more stuff. The easiest way for us to do that is to get more supporters. Make sure you're checking out patreon.com/OTheAnthem. Become a supporter on there. Help us help to provide this great entertainment for you. So, going back again, Swizz last week put out his answer to Illmind 8 and Hopsin's other songs.
Yep. And we talked about that last Wednesday.
Yeah. And then Hopsin takes less than a week. 2 days. No, he took a week.
It came out yesterday.
Yeah. So he took about a week to put out his response.
I'm still... Well, I don't even know if it was a response.
See, now,
I haven't read the lyrics. You have.
I have, and I'm going to argue that it is a response.
Are you, okay. You tell me where it's a response, and I'll make my comments on it.
Okay, so first of all, we talked about before that we got rolling today about how this does not sound like Hopsin.
It's not Hopsin. This is...
Tell everybody why it is that you say that.
This is completely Marcus. As we've talked about before, if the contacts are not in, it's Marcus.
Right.
And recently, since leaving Funk Volume, it's been pretty much no contacts. And as we get every song that we get deeper into seems to be more like everything he dissed on in the last 6 years. So,
meaning what?
Lil Wayne.
But how is it like Lil Wayne? I guess
It's just the sound of it. Like the beginning of what's the song called again?
Die This Way.
Die This Way. The first fucking 20 seconds of it, I wanted to turn it off, but because it was Hopsin, somebody who I've known and I've done shows with and talked to, I sat through it. And I'm just like, this is not Hopsin.
Right.
It's not Hopsin at all.
Well, okay, so you asked for lyrics that show that it's kind of a kickback track.
Yes.
All right, so he says, "I'm no longer with the Avengers. My heart is frozen with some vengeance." So obviously that's making reference to Funk Volume. And then going to what you said about Flash says they have more drama going on than Degrassi, which is absolutely 100% true.
Never watched it.
Oh, what? Really? Degrassi?
Are you really shocked by that?
God.
Come on, are you really shocked by that one?
So then he says, "Look, bitches, I'm making dough from all the bitchin'. You'd think I went baking soda in the kitchen." So he's making reference to drugs, making money off drugs, which
is
Hopsin never would have done. And he's, basically saying, "Look at this back and forth that we're having. I'm making money off of this, so thank you."
Which is understandable because he made a lot of money off beef in the day, so. But for him to like reference drugs and shit like that, that's not him. That's him, like trying to keep his buzz up, and I don't think he needs to do that to keep a buzz.
So then verse 2 though goes into a bit of like, almost like I'm sorry, but not. So he says, "Am I lonely? Yes. I'm on one. That's why my homies left. I live with no regrets, motherfuckers. I won't repent." Like, so basically, to me, that sounds kind of like maybe I made a mistake by leaving. Maybe I got on one and I rolled out, and now I have to stay gone because that's the way it works. But
I mean, it's one of those things when we talked about it with the Swizz thing. We're never going to know the full side of either side of the story.
Right.
Obviously, it's two-folded. Obviously, Hopsin felt some type of way when he felt Hash Brown was making more money than him.
Right.
Because I think that's still what it comes down to. But even at that time, he was still making enough money that he could go to Australia and chill for fucking 4 weeks and do nothing but skateboard.
Although apparently he also got into a fight with his girlfriend's parents because he mentions that in here as well. But like all of that whiny shit, it just is not what I've expected to come from Hopsin.
No.
At all.
I mean, if that
really, that's exactly what it is.
If Immortal Technique put that out, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, so Immortal Technique puts out some stuff that's really questionable sometimes, but it's never his tracks. He's like, this is a diss track that I put out because somebody talks shit about me. And I'm like, okay, I get you. Don't put it out like it's new music. He put out Die This Way like it's new music. He's been pimping it up. Like, I got new music coming, I got new music coming. When Immortal Technique does something, it's like, here's my album, Revolutionary, Volume 3, or Death in the Streets, all this stuff. And then he's like, so this is, aside from what I usually do, here is something I'm doing that's totally separate. It's made to make you laugh, or it's made to diss this guy. Don't conclude it with everything else that I do. This is just some street shit that I got going on.
Hopsin is Chinese gibberish to me. I've never listened to him, so sorry guys. Sorry Hopsin, no disrespect.
This is why I like Twisted.
Right.
Because if at any point at any time anybody's ever tried to diss them, completely ignore them.
Yeah, just let it go.
They've always just done their own thing. So what if somebody's dissing?
Right.
They're on their own path. They're working on their own shit. And I feel like that's any way that any artist should be. Yes, beef brings attention to both artists.
Yeah.
But where we're getting with Funk Volume and Hopsin and his underground prodigy bullshit, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's on that same level with the Joker and Funk Volume.
Right.
It's ridiculous. The Joker was a good artist, but when they were beefing with each other, they were forcing people to choose a side one way or another, and you shouldn't have to do that.
Well, I was gonna say,
to go back even further, Jay-Z and Nas
right,
beefing way back in the day.
and don't make us choose sides. Right. Especially because it looks like you showed me a video from someone new who is doing work with Funk Volume now, and or was at least collaborating with a Funk Volume artist.
It was artists from Strange Music.
Right.
And he had Gerald Benton on there, which, I mean, I never thought much of Gerald Benton, but that's my personal opinion.
But I dug that song. So
I mean, it was a good song. And
Yeah.
I'm not bashing on Gerald Benton or anything. I'm not saying he did bad on it. It's just my no, it's not a lie. It's my personal opinion based on what I like music wise. I'm not gonna say that Gerald Benton's a bad musical artist.
right.
It's just not what I prefer. Obviously, there's people out there that enjoy that. I'm not gonna say he's a bad person.
But you like that song.
Yeah, it was a good
Well,
song.
and the problem is that if you have to choose sides, you get in that sense that, like, if I'm on Hopsin's side, I can't like anything that Funk Volume has anything to do
Well,
with.
I mean, it wasn't even before that came along. With Gerald Benton, I really didn't like. I liked features that he's on,
Right.
but like his normal music, a lot of it was about, like, if I remember correctly, like drugs and shit.
Right.
I've never been about drugs and shit.
Although
so-
this was not. You know, this
It,
had a
it
good message.
wasn't, but it. I don't know. I mean, his raps on it were decent.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but it's just.
That's a compliment. I didn't hate it.
It is a compliment.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it, but I mean, it's something that's got to grow on.
Yeah. Well, and so I want to tell you too. My sister, completely separately, heard a song with one of her friends. One of her friends was playing like a mix on whatever MP3, and a Tech Nine song came on, and she was like, "I think my brother would like this." So she pulls it up in the car, and I'm like, "Yeah, I've heard this song before. This is Tech Nine." She was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Of course I know who this is."
Which one was it?
No, I can't remember the song because I was so flabbergasted that she was like, "I know something you'll like," and then like she pulls up the Tech Nine song and I'm like, "Yeah, I know this song," and so she immediately like cut it off and was like, "What?" And I'm like, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "Cause Kenny got me into him, and you know, it's the whole thing." So
Because it goes way back to the Pizza Empire days.
it goes all the way back to
Strange
Pizza Empire.
music.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we'll keep tabs on this Hopsin and Funk Volume thing. I mean, it remains to be seen. This wasn't really a knockback at Swizz, so I don't know if there's going to be a response. This was more of like he's floundering, really. I don't really get what's going on, and maybe something new will come out in the next couple of weeks and give some clarity.
And that's why we were trying not to keep it to a main point of the episode.
Yeah.
Because recently we've been talking so much about Funk Volume
Yeah.
and Hopsin and everything. I didn't want it to be a main point. So
But it's got to be addressed, though.
It's got to be addressed
Yeah.
because we keep talking about it. But before we get out of here, yes, Brian needs to stop hiding. We
Next
know he
time.
hides in the kitchen.
Next time.
But before we get out of here, we do have one more thing we do have to talk about.
Okay.
We have to bring up the DDP Yoga one more time.
What? The DSUG Summer Challenge. Yes.
Yes.
So, my order will be in Thursday. Well, no, Friday.
And with that in mind,
Yeah.
the Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts is
Yeah.
on Netflix, and I'm sure everybody has Netflix now.
Right.
Watch that because we're going to review it next week,
Yep.
and it has absolutely everything to do with DDP Yoga.
Well, and last year we talked a lot about DDP Yoga when Kenny got into it kind of the first time, but obviously I've done a little bit of research now. We're going to be starting
And now I got a
the
support system.
We're going to be starting the DSUG Summer Challenge. So if I've already heard from 3 people, and I'm trying to get Corey to get it as well, to join in on the DSUG
I will
Summer
send
Challenge.
him the videos if we'll do it.
You get in touch with him and let him know that. Let him know if he wants to
number.
join.
You call him. We're done this, and tell him I will send him the videos.
Well, actually, he is on a date right now, so we'll do that.
Well,
But
you
no,
can
no.
text him.
So make sure you join in with us on the DSUG Summer Challenge. You don't have to do the DDP Yoga. We're doing it because it's easy to do. It's easy to keep you at home. It's good to be accountable.
And if you have a support system, it's easier
Right.
to stay involved.
And we can hold each other accountable on that a lot easier than we can going to a gym or anything like that. So join in with us. Check out DDP Yoga. The links are going to be in the show notes for this episode. And what we're going to do next week is we'll discuss Resurrection of Jake the Snake. We'll talk about our beginning measurements. and kind of what we're looking at to get started. Basically, next week will be the DSUG Summer Challenge kickoff episode, so make sure you join us for that episode. That'll be coming up sometime next week. Make sure you are following at Dirty Shore UG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, where you can get the latest information, including links to when we're going to be live streaming. We always live stream this and every episode at youtube.com/c/Dirty Shore UG-OTA. So make sure you join us there, especially next week. If you're going to be joining in on the DSUG Summer Challenge, join us next week so you can let us know that you're in, and so you can share with us on the kickoff episode. And of course, this and every episode is available. New episodes posted every Thursday on DirtyShoreUnderground.com. Make sure you check that out. And while you're there, click through the Amazon link, click through the Patreon page, become a supporter on Patreon, help us out by shopping on Amazon. All great ways you can support the podcast. But in other news, make sure you are joining us for the hashtag DSUG Summer Challenge. Share it, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you're spreading the word. Get everybody to come out. The best thing you can do to help support the podcast is spread the word to your friends. So make sure.
In reference of what is being said right now,
yeah,
I just want to say right before you came over for a podcast one night,
yeah,
we both know I had Tony do it.
Yeah.
And it whooped his ass, and we both know he's a bodybuilder, so...
I'm looking forward to it. So I can't wait to get the discs and get started. But make sure you join us next week for that kickoff episode, and we can kind of give you our impressions and get moving forward on that. And if you're listening on Stitcher, Dogcatcher, Google Music, or iTunes, make sure you give us a rating and a review. It's a great way to help let everybody else know. Make sure you're sharing our post, spreading the word amongst your friends. Also a great way to support the podcast. Otherwise... this episode, I think we're up to like almost 40 now. We're almost up to episode 40, which is crazy.
How many bonus episodes?
34. So 34 bonus episodes and 40.
So we're catching up to your and
me and Corey's podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, we are up to episode 112 this week. So without any bonus episodes, just 112 consecutive weeks. So make sure you join us next week for the DSUG Summer Challenge kickoff episode. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on all your social networks. You can find me at Robert N. Cheek on your social networks. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com for more information about me, links to my political blog, my news website, a place to sign up for my mailing list, and of course my books, which are available on Amazon. New books coming this summer, so make sure to keep an eye out for those as well. Anyway, make sure you check out, this podcast is a proud member of the OD Anthem Digital Network. Make sure you check out OD Anthem at odanthem.com. New episodes of that podcast every Tuesday, and at OD Anthem on all your social networks. Make sure you join our sister show, Anthem Alliance, available every Friday through the OD Anthem Digital Network, and at Anthem Alliance on all your social networks. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next week. Go ahead.
Before we go.
Yeah.
Brian, will you join us on the Summer Challenge?
Probably not.
Why not?
Because he's lazy.
Do you think it won't work?
Dude, that's 36 years of hard work. I'm not working that hard to get rid of it.
See, there you go. Well, and it's a personal challenge for everybody. We're not forcing anyone.
I'll let you know.
If you want to join us, join in, and you can be part of the success.
I will get you the videos, or you...
I'll let you know.
Come in and join. All right, so we'll see you next week for that kickoff episode. Until then, have a great week, everybody.